courses in the universities, in our TVET, and wherever else, you can use these resources to guide you, even as you go on, to mentor you as you progress with your career, so that even as you get into the field, into the market, you know what yourself into. So at this point, I want to very quickly invite Elder Warutere to take us through the first session.
IT to guide us. Maybe we may not, we have the people that are with us, the panelists and the professionals. One is to thank the Christian Education for coming up with this program, and also our youth for being available. So with us, we have people who work in the various institutions where you'll be applying for your courses, in universities, in TVETs, in KMTC, in teaching. We also have professional people who are already practicing in various fields and such. And today is just the beginning. We are not doing it as a one-off, but it is a journey we want to work together with you, so that once you settle in your particular career that you are doing, you know the person you can work with. Yeah, so if you have taken law, you know Sasa, such a person is my mentor, because he's already in that field. And even for opportunities, sometimes you want internship, you want what? So that's the relationship that we want to cultivate. So today is just a day to come together to know one another. So on my far right, very first, we have one of our magistrates, that's Elder David. So he'll be giving insights in the field of law. We have Dr. Madenge, who is a surgeon. So he'll be giving insights in the area of medicine. We have Mr. Hiohu. Mr. Hiohu is in TVET, the middle level colleges, so he also be giving insights on that. We have Engineer Morisho. Engineer Morisho will be giving insights to those who are interested in the area of engineering. We have Dr. Simba. Dr. Simba, who has two hats. He works in the university, so he will guide you even in terms of the COOPS applications and all that, but also in the medical field. He is also a professional there. We have Florence. Maybe I'll come to her last. We have Dr. Rosemary. Dr. Rosemary is also in the medical field, but today she'll be talking about the opportunities available in the KMTCs, that area. We have Mr. Mutemwa. Mutemwa has been a long-serving principal. So in the matters, in the areas of the line of education, those who want to take teaching and that particular area, he has all that you need to know to get to that area. We have Anne Wajiko. Anne is one minor. Anne is in social sciences, and also practicing. So she'll also give what it entails there. We have Charity Dongo. Charity Dongo is a researcher here at Karo. So she'll be talking about the agricultural related courses. There are many. We were also expecting Mr. Moura, Mrs. Moura. Maybe they are still on the way. They will be handling the business-oriented, the accounting, and the IT-related fields, but we continue to assist one another. We also have Florence. Florence is, najua hii mambo yote tukifanya. Tunaambiangwa, you seek? Matthew, you first of all seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and the rest will be added unto you. So as a church, we don't want only to equip you with those other skills that are required for your work, but also the godly values. So he just mentioned to you that while you go to the college, and even those who are in college, to what values do you still need to uphold so that you are successful. We have the other members of the Christian Education Committee. We have Jane is with us here. We have the chief, Madam Hiohu, who is there, and maybe the last, Mrs. Moura is there. She'll be taking us in the area of IT, business, accounts, just to give us insights. So we will not keep you long. In the area that you have an interest in, now feel free, even after this, to interact with a particular person who is in that field. You can take even his contact so that we start that journey. And we work together, and I know the Christian Education will be organizing these sessions quite often, but even you as an individual now, take that responsibility to get your mentor, somebody who can do, maybe for those who may have forgotten my name, is Ephraim Warutere, and I'm born again, and I'm saying that maybe Jack, you can project my short presentation. I work at Jomo Kenyatta University here in Juja, and I'm in the field of engineering, but today I'm not delving more into the university, but now from there we have people who will talk more about that. So we are talking about career guidance. The importance of it is that it is important to discern the career that suits your strength, talents, and personality, so that whatever you'll do, whatever decision you make at this time, it is a decision that you not come to regret, or maybe a near 2 years down the line. Because sometimes the youth, you get excited by the name of the course without knowing what it entails. Only 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line to see this is not where my heart was. So that is why this session is very important, so that before you get into it, at least you know what are the prospects. Is that where my heart is? So that's why we thought it is important for us to have this session. Those that have already chosen their courses, you are already in them. You can also continue getting encouragement in the people who are already in the field. You can go ahead. Let's go, move on. The control. Let's move on. So as we know, the Kenya University, the KUPS, is a government agency in the Ministry of Education, established by the Act of Parliament, and the main function is to coordinate the placement of students to universities and colleges. Tunaenda haraka, Jack. We are moving fast, because every speaker we only have 5 minutes, so we are not taking long. So as we know, the KUPS, or the Ministry of Education, announced that the KUPS have opened maybe about 3 or so days ago, and they will be closing for this session. They have opened, I think, on 22nd of February. So now you are able to log in and be able to do your application for university courses, for TVETs, and all those others that have been aligned there. So through KUPS, okay, I'll be doing that so that we're able to move together. Yeah, so through KUPS, qualified students can apply for placement for the following institutions. One is universities. And we know that eligible applicants are Kenyan citizens who have sat for the KCSE examination and attained a minimum of C+. So that's the minimum entry point to the university. But we know that for the main target group is those who finished last year, but I think this time they have opened, or they have given that allowance, even those who have finished about 2 years ago, you can still be able to apply through that. So those courses are available in the university. So long as you got a C+ and above, you are eligible to get or to apply for a program in the university. But now each of the programs, degree program, will have its own requirement. So the C+ is just to usher you in. But now which room you'll be placed into that house will depend now on the qualification for each of the programs, which you get through your portal. The other opportunities that are there are in the TVET institutions. Students can also apply for placement to technical institutes operated by various universities. They are universities that offer diploma courses and even certificate courses. So again, if you apply, if you go to such programs, you are still eligible, or you can get it through COOPS. The others are the Ministry of Education TVET colleges. So the diploma and certificates can be offered from 2 points. One, by the colleges or by the universities that offer diplomas and certificate, and maybe they even do their own examination and all that. But the same can also be offered by the TVET Ministry of Education, TVET colleges, like now what we have here, like Thika Technical, Rift Valley Technical, Kiabu Institute, and all that. At the minimum here, it is C-. But again, each of the diploma program will have its own individual requirements. The other one, also within those TVET institutions, we also have the craft certificate courses, as well as the artisan certificate courses with the requirements that are shown there for craft certificate. And for artisan certificate is a D- and below. So it means that hakuna mtu anaweza potelea, and all those you will get them through the COOPS. We also have the teachers training colleges. Maybe somebody will be mentioning about that. TVET institutions in other ministries. Like now in the Ministry of Health, we have something like now what you are calling the KMTC. That one is under the Ministry of Health. Maybe in the Ministry of Energy, there are still other programs that they may offer. The Ministry of Transport and such. So all those are the different courses you can apply through COOPS, as well as now the recent launched one, the Open University. So application for placement, I think that one we had mentioned, and there is somebody who will be talking about that process and what you require. And yes, so we are saying that currently we have about 39 public universities that are eligible for government scholarships and the higher education loans, but not students who choose courses offered at private universities or colleges will only be eligible for HELP loans only, not the scholarship. But those who get courses in the public universities or colleges, they will get both the HELP loan as well as the government scholarships. We can go on, Jack. We can proceed. Okay, so the degree programs, the various degree programs are available, maybe in general, that are available in the universities. We have law-related courses, we have business-related courses, art-related courses, geoscience, special education, Swahili-related, engineering and technology, architecture, design, planning, and related courses, computing and IT-related, agribusiness, science-related, mathematics, economics, design, textile and related, sports, physical education and related, medicine, nursing, health and related, history and related, programs, agriculture, geography, French, education and science, religious studies, and all that. So you can see that you are able to choose from a very wide range of courses, and that is why nobody should miss a course. Maybe in all those categories, you cannot miss an area that excites you, that you qualify for, especially now also in the different levels that are available. So I want to add there so that I can also give other speakers a chance, but we said this is just an introduction. Now it is up to you to make a follow-up with any one of us. But maybe at the end we are going to have a session of questions and comments. So in case you have a question in any of the areas I've mentioned, you can note it down at the end. We are going to have that chance. So I think I want to add their share, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Elder Engineer Warotere. Asante sana for that very informative guidance. Situmu appreciate vizuri. Asante sana. So without wasting time, because we are taking the least time possible, I want to invite Mr. Hyohu to take us through the available courses in the TVETs. Asante sana.
Good afternoon. I want to take you through the TVET courses so that you can be in a position to understand what these TVET courses are. They are normally offered in the middle level colleges. Like the other have mentioned, that is like Thika Technical, you have Kiabu, we have Mishuki, you have Meru Technical, that is National Polytechnic. There are quite many. When the study was going on there, I could see there's about one that something different colleges. But the technical institutions in Kenya are about 192, around 192 there, of which we had earlier, we had quite a number of them earlier, but through the Jubilee government, because of the rising numbers of students who are coming out from Form 4, they realized there was a problem, and so they had to increase the number, which was an act of parliament, and they were able to increase in each and every constituency that never had an institution. As the fact that we have gone so far is that we have been able to, the first lot was about 70, then another 60 was constructed. We are in the batch of 30. This money is donated by the government so that the youth can be able to join them, and they are able to do the courses that are offered there. I think I go direct to the courses now, and I start with some of the old courses, because the oldest technology in this world was in construction, mechanical, and electrical. I'm saying that because even the time that the ark was being constructed, timber was used at the tar. And that's why I'm saying they are the oldest. In building construction, what we have is, we have diploma courses, and we also have certificate courses. If you could look at the slide, it also showed about the arts and courses. In building, we have the architectural course. We also have quantity survey course. We also have civil engineering course. Those are the ones that we are normally offered at a diploma level. We also have the building construction. Those are the ones that are offered at a diploma level. When it comes to the certificate, we have the carpentry course, we have the masonry course, we have the plumbing course. Maybe maybe if allowed, can I polish that? I'm saying when we talk of the architect course, that is the one that deals with the construction of the building. I mean, sorry, the drawings of the buildings. When it comes to the quantity survey, they have to work hard in hard. with the architect, because the person who prepares the bills of quantities, that is the cost of the building. When we come to the civil engineering, that's where we get those people who normally do the roads, the airports. That's the work of the civil. Now, in that case, then we have what we call the masons. They are the people responsible for constructing the walls. When it goes up, the carpenters and the welders will also be involved because of the roof. Then we have the electrical part, which somebody who have done power will come and install the electric. In the mechanical, I mean in the doors, initially used to use a lot of timber doors, but nowadays what you can see is fabricated doors. So we also inform a person of fabrication. Then we go to electrical work, electrical department, which we have the two parts, and this, if you allow me to give you the details of it, in the electrical, we have the power option, and we also have the communication, electrical communication. In the power option, those are the people who deal with the fittings of the houses. But when it comes to electronics, that is where we have those people who repair TVs, they repair computers, and the other machines which are related to that. At that, and the same, we have a diploma on that level, and we also have a certificate on the same level. It's good to mention that in these subjects, in these courses, the minimum, as we have seen in the slide, is C-. With that C-, most of the times in engineering courses, they are cluster subjects like in mathematics. It's important to have done mathematics, so that it's not that, like now we had what we called the Kenya National Examination Council, which was examining which was the body that was doing examining these people. But now, because of what we are doing, what happens is that if you don't have the background of mathematics, physics, and chemistry, sometimes you get a problem in handling those subjects. So most of these courses, what will happen is that if you have a C- in mathematics, physics, you are at an advantaged level. Then we have the mechanical, that is the mechanical engineering. In mechanical engineering, we have two of them, and these ones we have. Sorry, we have production, and we also have the plant. That is the mechanical engineering. There's a problem that normally occurs with most of the people when they are choosing the courses. They talk of mechanical because of the mechanics who repair vehicles. Those who repair vehicles are in automotive, not in mechanical. That is automotive engineering. Okay? It's still already there. But in the mechanical now, I have said we have the plant, we have the production, and we have the mechanical engineering plant. In production, what we deal with is when you can see something like the lights. So we all know what are the lights? Yes. That's among the oldest also technology. It's about 350 years before Christ. In that one, that is what you prepare, or the ones that you find that are used in the machines and the vehicles, that is in the production. But when we have the other one in plant, these are the people who prepare, they are able to repair the pumps, they are able to repair the refrigerators. And because of the way we are moving in technology, we are still coming to make our own before long. Then we have automotive engineering. In automotive, that is the repair of cars. We have gone a step further because nowadays we are assembling quite a number of vehicles in this country. Thika Technical, Kiambu Technical, and Nairobi Technical Institute. Those who are given by a mandate before the first cohort have gone out in the industries, but they were given a mandate where they will be able to manufacture vehicles from Japan. Okay? some parts will be manufactured in Kiambu, others will be technical, others will be manufactured here in Thika. Then the whole vehicle is combined so that whole vehicle is assembled. So the Germans are following that one so much. So if you are lucky to join those ones, you also have some advantages in your career. Now, we also have the agriculture department engineering. That is where we offer agricultural engineering, that is general agriculture. We also have statistics on the same. We also have arts and on the same, on agriculture, arts and course, which you have been told is D- at the below. Then we have others which are not in engineering areas, other courses which are not in the engineering areas. I mentioned about better design. You have seen so many people after doing their course they even change. When the population grows, there's a lot that goes on. With this better design, that's why we have people who are coming up with the several designs of cloth. What you are wearing, and there's a course that have also gone up. It's a course. There are those courses that are lifespan, but we have to adapt others because it's one of the basic needs to wear cloth. Then we have others in the business management areas, and those one you can allow me to read because I have them in the business management, diploma in supply chain management, diploma in marketing management, diploma in project management, diploma in human resource management, diploma in secretarial studies, diploma craft in business management, certificate course in supply chain management, sales and marketing certificate course support in chain management, certificate course in human resource management, certificate course in secretarial studies course. The others in information communication technology, that is in ICT. We have a diploma in ICT. We also have a craft certificate in ICT and information studies. 2. That means with the various courses, others are coming up because others are being constructed. They are not complete, but they are coming up. And it's good to repeat that we have that maybe I might not have mentioned. There's food and the beverage, there's tourism. All those, they are offered in different institutions. What I have mentioned is they are mostly offered in most of the institutions when they are starting. It's also good to mention. Having been in this area for quite a number of years now, because of where you are, you enter into a classroom, you see the student, the way the student is performing. Then, once you question the student, what will happen is that I was taught to do this course, or I was forced to do this course, I was guided to do this course. Like the other have said, there are those courses that the person will look at, and then you look at the amount of time or the amount of money that they can produce. That one is good that you know yourself. Okay, I'm saying it's good that you look at yourself and know yourself better. Where you have reached now at that age, you know yourself better, isn't it? Yes. If you are not very good in mathematics, there's something that you can do. You are not very good in arts, you know what you can do. So it's good that you understand yourself better. Once you understand yourself, you'll be able to choose a course. Guidance is always there. If you require to ask any question, even after this, I'm available. You can ask any question so that at least I can guide you where I can. But I have said, know yourself. Every problem starts with you, and you want to solve the problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hyuhu. Asante sana. And see, we are getting a lot of information. Please take note of the facilitators, wafuate, so that they give you their contacts, so that in case you will need further guidance, you know who to contact. Sawa sawa. And we continue appreciating those that are following us online. We hope that you're benefiting. And as we move forward, I would like to invite Mr. Mutemwa so that he guides us on Teacher Training College information. Asante sana. Karibu. Mr. Mutemwa, that is career 101 tips. Those are the things that some of us who are a bit old school never got to hear. And they may have cost some of us. So take that very seriously as you embark on your courses that you will be undertaking at the university. Sasa because of gender balance, si tumeongeleshwa na wanaume sana. Sasa tunataka kuita one of our very good ladies, Dr. Rosemary, to take us through KMTC courses and what it entails. Karibu sana, Dr. Rosemary. How to appreciate Mr. Mutemwa? Did we appreciate Mr. Mutemwa? Can we please do that? Sorry, Dr. Rosemary. Asante sana, and welcome, Dr. Rosemary.
Thank you, Anne. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kawera Rosemary. I identify myself as a nurse educator. Why I say that is because I'm who I am. I am a nurse, I am a teacher. So it is easier to call me a nurse educator. On the regular, you'll find me at JKUAT School of Nursing. That is where I am. Though I have interacted a lot in training nurses at diploma level. So I am conversant of the middle level training of health courses, and I'll be talking about the Kenya Medical Training College. KMTC, as we know it, is the biggest trainer of healthcare workers in Kenya. It accounts for up to 80% of when you go to any public hospital and you count the number of people you see there, almost 80% of them will have gone to a KMTC somewhere. There are very many campuses all over the country. So every other county, almost all the counties these days actually have a KMTC. And a KMTC, well, it has not been in COOPS for the longest. It used to be independent. While it's a middle-level college, it was not squarely fitting into TVET. They were sort of feeling they need to be independent. But until last year, from last year, moving on now, they are under COOPS. So students wanting to do any course in KMTC must choose it through the COOPS certificate courses, and those two will be chosen through COOPS. Then they have, and one of the diplomas that can be chosen through COOPS and the certificate is what Mwalimu anaogopa, mortuary science. Our chairman posted a brochure about KMTC. It's the most recent brochure from KMTC, and they did it in preparation for the COOPS opening, and they have been doing a big campaign because of the change. They have been used to having their students directly. Now they are doing it through COOPS, and everybody else is also choosing courses, so they are doing a big campaign. That brochure is available at the church wall, and it shows all the courses offered by the Kenya Medical Training College. Of importance is most of the courses offered at KMTC are regulated. What do we mean by regulation? There is a regulatory body that dictates do your degree, your master's, your PhD. I have seen colleagues who started at even certificate level of nursing, and we are colleagues. My entry level could have been bachelor's, but I have seen even those who had lower entry, like a diploma or certificate, still have a very clear path of growth. So it does not mean because you have started as a diploma or a certificate, you cannot go to higher levels. The limitation is only yourself. The limitation is only yourself. Importantly, when you go to COOPS, he will talk about it, but also it is among the courses you will choose done online. Another important thing is KMTC has two intakes, largely. They have the March intake and they have the September intake. Chances are the portal may open later for the September intake, but it is not safe not to apply now because you don't know if they will get enough and divide them into two intakes or they will open again. So it is good to take advantage of currently what is available. Another good thing about the KMTC courses, besides the employability, is you don't only have to work in an hospital setup. You know, people, when the general population, even my own mother, for example, when I was doing nursing, the much she thought I'll do is work in an hospital, social work, among others. You can also work in medical insurance, where you'll work as care managers. Of course, in our country, there is over time, uptake of insurance is increasing, and the market may not be so huge, but I am seeing also healthcare workers working in that space. There is a private practice, and that it is one of the strengths of these courses, because you can choose self-employment. And one of the things that most curriculums are doing at the university, at the middle level colleges, is we are including an entrepreneurship course, because we want to empower, students during training, that you actually can do this course and employ yourself. You don't have to wait and now start saying serikali's idea, hakuna kazi ya vijana. You still can do the course. A good example of such courses from KMTC that you can actually go directly into private practice include courses like pharmaceutical technology. If you do a diploma in pharmaceutical technology, you actually do not need employment. You can start your own pharmacy. A course like physiotherapy, besides employment, you can also start your own services. Nursing, you can start, of course, you require some years of experience first to get those licenses, but you can start your nursing homes. Clinical medicine, also there are areas that you can do your private practice. And of course, research, evidence-based research. There are areas where these professionals can work. And under KEMRI, there are many other organizations that work with them that I have seen them employ healthcare workers. KMTC is a good institution, being a government institution.
For placing us back to back, because the message that Dr. Rosemary and I, the work that doctors do cannot, we could not work if there was not that entire 80% of support. Now, so when I was asked to give insights, I thought, what is it I'm going to talk about? And our facility moderator has asked a very interesting question. Or was it Daktari, that where are those who are interested in the medical profession? And no hand went up. I'm not sad. It tells me one thing. One, that you are sure about what you're doing, or at least you have an idea of which direction you would want to head. So it comes in with a question that I wanted to answer. I will answer about 4 questions, which we'll ask ourselves and then answer. And the first one was who? Who comes into the medical profession? Now, I'm speaking from a point of personal experience of more than 20 years in practice, and also from observation and learning. You have to have that passion that was again mentioned by Principal Mutemwa, that you have to have the passion. So if you have the passion to serve, then you are heading in the right direction if you are considering a medical course. And this is goes together with another question: why? Why choose a medical career? Now, we know, and if we are honest with ourselves, and especially because parents want their children to survive and do well, they say in the medical profession, hautawai lala njaa, you'll always have work to do. We do not disagree that because of the shortage of healthcare workers in all cadres, if we take doctors, for example, according to World Health Organization standards, we ought to have 1 doctor for every 1,000 population. In Kenya, we have 1 doctor for 17,000. That tells you we need 7 times more. We need to multiply the number of doctors we have today by 7. If we could do it overnight, then we would reach the numbers that we have. If you go to nursing and all the other healthcare workers, the shortages are even worse. So there will always be work. And then there is also another statement which also comes from us parents. Iyo ndio iko na iko na pesa. Now, as you are making your decision, Mr. Hugh who also said that sometimes they are getting people in the colleges who are struggling with some of the courses. And stories have been told over and over again of a student who goes through a certain course, home with a certificate, alafu anaambia mzazi, degree yako ya medicine ndio hiyo, sasa mimi wacha niende nikafanye chenye ninapenda kufanya. So let us hope that you'll be able to, agree with your mentors, with your guardians, with your parents, that you go, as said in Matthew 23 verse 11, the greatest among you will be your servant. He was speaking to the crowd and also to his disciples. The greatest among you will be your servant. So for the health profession and any other, but particularly for the health profession, because you touch people when they are most vulnerable, then you need to have the passion to serve. So then the question of how. Look at the vast possibilities, because the courses, as for example has been presented by Dr. Rosemary, are so many. There are so many areas. And we have the clinical and non-clinical. Clinical meaning those who come into direct contact with the patients, and actually that is the smaller number. The biggest percentage of healthcare workers, the facility, in managing pharmacy, in managing the machines that are there. So almost like 50% of the healthcare workforce may not come into direct contact. So you have the passion to serve, but at the sight of blood, your knees get weak. You can find an entry point in a non-clinical area. So how has been explained to you. All the courses have the entry requirements. And I want to reiterate the point that Dr. Rosemary made, that all the health professions are regulated, which means even when you go to a training institution and you qualify with your degree, diploma, or certificate, before you practice, you must present your documents, qualification documents for registration. If you didn't meet entry requirements at the beginning, after spending 3 or 4 years somewhere, you may not get registered. So one needs to be very keen and make sure you qualify at entry and all through. The other reason that is important is there are also private institutions, not just the government ones like the KMTC and the university, the public universities. There are also private universities. There are private middle-level medical colleges, and they are teaching also many courses. So before you enter, because for example, if you miss the first selection for COOPS and you're still interested, you miss the second selection, maybe the course you want is in high demand, you can still go for the private colleges. But make sure that you had met the CUSP entry, you can be registered by the regulatory body. So what are some of the examples of what one can undertake? So in the medical schools, they teach medicine, the basic course in medicine. That is what is called the Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery in our country. And that allows you to practice as a doctor. Once you do a year of internship, you can be registered. We have medical schools now at the University of Nairobi, Moi University, Jomo Kenyatta, Kenyatta University, Kemu in Meru, Maseno, and Egerton. So there is plenty that is available now where one can go and train in medicine at the degree level. Then we also have schools of pharmacy. There used to be a certificate in pharmacy, but that was abolished because of the problem of regulation that we talked about. The Pharmacy and Poisons Board, which regulates pharmacy, declined to recognize the course. So it starts at diploma level and then to degree level. Now, then we have what we've called the medical colleges, which are teaching as many, quite a good number of the courses that are also in the KMTCs are replicated in private and faith-based. There are also many faith-based colleges teaching nursing, teaching clinical medicine, and the other courses. For example, at Kikuyu Mission Hospital, Tomotomo Hospital, and many others. Then we have others in the private setting, like the emergency medical technicians. These are mostly in the private setting. And these, for example, emergency medical technicians are the so-called paramedics, the ones that man ambulances. Then one could even start at the level of caregivers. There are courses now, especially in nursing. You have a passion to care, but you have not met the qualifications, for instance, for degree level. You have not met for diploma level or even certificate level. You could go in and start and train as a nurse assistant or a nurse aide. And the interesting thing is this one is also very marketable abroad. So that's interesting, as long as you are able to take the examinations locally and pass. So in summary, I wanted to sort of emphasize for me to you that you need to be very decided as you're coming into a medical course. Again, Principal Motemo has said something, that you need to do something that gives you fulfillment. Believe it or not, it gives me fulfillment. To be driven so that you'll always be able to wake up in the morning, raring to go and do your job, whatever it will be. So that passion is very important. Be driven by the right thoughts in your mind. And once you're driven by the right passion, not passion for money, not
Thank you very much, Dr. Mathenge. Appreciate him better, tafadhali. We are also breaking the cycle again. We want to invite a lady, Mrs. Mwaura, who will be talking to the business executives in the house. Finance and accounting, she'll be tackling that. And we hope somebody will benefit. Karibu sana, Mrs. Mwaura.
Praise God. Accountants wako wapi? Yes, I know we at that juncture in our lives where, you know, your mind is open, but I know as you've gone through life and you've seen people in different careers, I know deep down you have an inclination towards a certain direction. So my name is Esther Mwaura. I'm a finance and accounting professional. So I would just want to highlight, Jack, go to the next slide. I'll just want to take you through the accounting and finance careers that are available, because there is a wide range. I would also want to just highlight the kind of skills that you will need as you operate as a finance or an accounting profession, and also just to see why should you go this direction. Jack, next. So the accounting and finance professional, you probably would need to select your bachelor's, assuming you've got C+ and above, to do your bachelor's in a business related course, which could be a BCom, business administration, BBIT, you know. But then you would then require like to choose an area of specialization. And these are the ones I'll just highlight a few that majority of people end up in if you choose accounting and finance. So we have the credit analysts. We know the guys who work in the banking sector, and if you want to take a loan, then they'll need to see how much can you access and basically manage the credit process in the banks and also in the microfinance institutions. Then we have financial analysts. These ones work in the investment sectors, and their work is to analyze the performance of the business. They go to the extent of business valuations, if an organization is acquiring a live organization, just to say what is the value of that company, assisting in the due diligence, should we invest in this business? Then we have the accountants, which is most people know accountants. So bookkeeping, so these are like general practitioners, so to speak. So if you're an accountant, then you're bookkeeping, you're doing financial reporting, preparing financial statements, and you're also doing statutory, remissions to the government, ensuring the business is compliant with the regulations. Then you have accounting managers, and some of these roles, it depends with the size of the organization. So if it is a small business, you'll have an accountant who does multiple roles. But if you have a big organization, then you will have someone just doing, like someone's role is only financial analysis and does not even know any debit, does not do the role of accounting at all. Okay, so then we have the accounting manager. So in a big firm, the accounting manager will be the person making sure that the way the business is reporting is in line with, say, international financial reporting standards, the GAAP standards, and they'll also assist in tax matters, just to make sure that if any entries, what are their tax implications. Then you have those people who work as auditors, either internal or external auditors, and auditors basically ensure that the organization is compliant, so they assess risk in terms of the way the business is operating. Like if a payment process, so to speak, is there a likelihood? Does it create a potential window for the business to lose money? Then, of course, compliance is there. When you're processing the payments, are you deducting the right items that the government needs you to deduct? And if you, for you, of course, every business needs an external auditor for filing, so that you can file your books, and an auditor has signed that they've actually gone through those books and you've done things right. Then in some instances, you'll have budget analysts, and these ones will basically prepare budgets for an organization and ensure that there are processes to ensure that the organization stays within budgets. Then we have controllers, financial controllers. Again, controllers will be more or less like accountants doing control work. They'll prepare the financial statements. They will develop internal processes. They will also do the administration. They'll do treasury functions and accounting functions. Then you have the finance manager. Finance manager for big organizations where you have a lot of, roles are divided. There's someone who just does payroll only. There's a payroll accountant. There's a receivable accountant. There's a payable accountant. Then you have a finance manager who is in charge of the team to just ensure that there is a strategy in place for that department and the organization financial health is good. Then some people decide to concentrate on the tax bit, so they become tax accountants. And these ones, when it comes to June, we all need to file our returns. That is human beings, people like you, individuals, and also corporate entities. So the tax accountants are the ones who help with this, and also tax advisory. Especially in large organizations, it's not as simple as I want to start a business. You need to look at the form of business and the kind of taxes that entity will attract, so that you come up with a tax efficient entity. So the tax accountants are the one who can take you through all that. Then we have management consultants, but mainly for management consultants, you'll have to have experience because it normally looks at operational efficiency. Is this business, does this business have the right strategies? Are there ways we can reduce costs? So you would have to have like industry experience for you to be able to be a management consultant. Then there's personal financial advisors. We know the guys who work for Old Mutual. They're basically like selling investment products, and this is also a path that you could choose to go into. Next, Jack. Okay, so there are 3 key skills that you would need to be a finance and accounting profession. And one is, of course, you need to undergo training so that you understand finance. What is finance? You know, like you understand the money, you understand standards that are there in the market. So you'll need finance skills, communication skills, because if you're going to be preparing, say, financial statements, these financial statements need to be communicated to, say, your board of directors, you're doing reports, you're interacting with other people, so you need to have good communication skills. And in the current dispensation, I think technology, you cannot, there's no, for a lot of industries, technology now sits at the heart. I'm sure we've heard about fintechs, which is basically finance in technology. So you would have to really, previously, books were kept in, you know, like a cash book. When I went to school, at least technology had started. But before that, you used to have a cash book where you record all the cash you have received, debit and credit was real. But nowadays you have systems where you log, and you know the system will prepare the financial, the balance sheet, the trial balance. So we need to appreciate technology because it's important. There's an upcoming area, and in that, because there's a lot of data with organizations, people need to be able to organize this data and advise the institution so that it uses the information it has to make decision. So why would you choose to be in the accounting? So my why would be, first, there is high demand. You know, like I think some time back there was a list of professions that would be affected by IT, AI. I want to tell you, finance and accounting is not one of them. If technology comes in, technology will only come in to boost, make things more efficient, but not to replace the people who work in this industry. So there'll always be a high demand for finance and accounting profession. So this is an industry where you go to school, you are nearly sure you'll get an engagement. Also, working as a finance professional, it promotes critical thinking because you're basically a problem solver. You'll go into an institution and there'll be different problems. Say you work in an investment company and they need to attract investors. So as a finance professional, you need to see how the business structures itself to attract those investors. What are we telling the investors? You assist in preparing like reports, pitch decks. So it is an area where you as a person will be engaged. So if you're a person who likes troubleshooting, coming up with solution, this is an area that you will love working at. There are also numerous opportunities for advancement. If you look at majority, just go and do a study of CEOs. Just look at their background. Most of the CEOs have a background in finance because when someone opens a business, what is their motive? As much as it's not mostly profit, there are other things, but an organization will not last very long if it is not making profit. So most of the CEOs are accountants, are finance professionals. You need to understand. If a CEO is, say, if a CEO is, say, an engineer, like Elda Warutere, I think they would have to go through Finance 101 so that there's so much you can venture into as a finance professional. And of course, you apply these things in your own life. You know, there are careers you choose, and off work, you can't apply. When you're an accountant or a finance professional, you learn how to do budget, so you start doing your own first. You don't need anyone to file your taxes. You know, you want to start a business, you just go to eCitizen, you open the business. You know, you don't need to employ an accountant immediately when you open a business because you are the accountant. So this is really, you don't need to think of, I have to get employed if I train as an accountant. And it's a stable industry. You've seen industry, there's some industries that are affected by either seasons, you know, or events. Say you choose to go into the hospitality industry. Then there is low season and high season. So this is not one of those industries. It is very stable. And of course, for a lot of organizations, if you're hired as an accountant, they don't want to keep changing an accountant every day because it takes time before you understand the business. So you're likely to last longer in your posting. Go to the next page. So should you wish, of course, if you go into uni and choose to do a business related course, I would want to advise that you also do a professional course because a degree is very academic. It teaches you things, it opens up your mind. But when you choose a professional course, you're actually choosing the pathway that you want to specialize in. So CASNEB has a lot of courses that support finance. So you could choose to do CPA. You could choose to do ACCA. ACCA and CPA are sort of the same, just that CPA is East Africa and ACCA is global. So only a few units are different. The law, you don't learn the local law. When you do CPA, you learn our local law. When you do ACCA, you learn UK law. There's also CCP for the credit analysts. There's certified secretary, you know, like someone who can sit in a board, take minutes, come up with board resolution. That is also a finance professional. There's also CIFA. CIFA is for financial analyst, and then there's CISE, which is a bit of a technology integrated into the whole of finance and accounting. So it means you can be an auditor, you can audit systems. Thank you very much for listening to me. In case you would need any questions, you need to reach out. My email address and my telephone numbers are there. Thank you.
Wow, very well presented. Let's appreciate her once again. I'm sure somebody is convinced after that presentation that was very well prepared. I'm sure somebody has been locked into that profession already. So if you want further information, Mrs. Mwaura is available, and I can attest to that. I have been in that field also, and it is forever. It is good. Business, entrepreneurship, you're good. So at this point, I want to invite Engineer Murisho, so as to take us through tips of engineering. Watu wa engineering wako sasa? Najua mko, ni vile tu hamjatokelezea. Karibu sana, Mr. Engineer.
Asante sana. Good afternoon. I think I'll be very brief. I don't have any presentations. But I think I can start by answering a question that I think could be in your mind. Is there any opportunity in engineering? I can say yes, and very categorically. I see the number of opportunities that there are in engineering are the same in number as the number of problems that there are in the world. So if you think there are any problems in the world, there is your answer. There are also opportunities in engineering. Because engineering is about solving problems, about identifying what problems there are, in the community and solving them. There's a time I took my daughter, Joy, who is here with me, to a school. There's a question that was asked there, and I was very happy with that question. That is when she was joining Form 1. And the question was, what 21st century problem do you want to tackle? That is the question that I wish can linger into your mind. What is this problem that continue bedeviling, or is it bedeviling people in the 21st century that you would want to tackle? You know, some people it's about cancer, and you really hate cancer. You know, what can I do about cancer? And you can be a medic, you can also be a biomedical engineer, and you can be anything else that can tackle that. It could be about climate change. And when there's climate change, you also have engineers that can come in and do climate change. Energy is becoming a major crisis. Can I do something about it? So if you ask yourself those questions, then you will find a lot of opportunities in engineering. So I just want you to focus, because I don't want to be very academic, but I want to focus on what kind of a problem can there be and where does engineering sit. Let me look at a lady seated here, and she wants to send a message on WhatsApp. That's a problem. She needs to communicate. Communication is needed here. So how does she do? She cannot wake from here, go, take a plane, and deliver the message. She needs that solution. So she'll probably get to her phone that was definitely designed by engineers, definitely. She'll get to her phone, scroll, and get to WhatsApp, write a message. That message needs to go all the way to the person that she's sending the message to. So someone must have first thought that when she's there, she needs what is called coverage, telecommunication coverage. So a telecommunication engineer, that's where I now want to group the engineers, would have had to test the area, know that we don't have coverage in this church, and design how to build that coverage. They will do what is called radio planning. So if you wanted to be a radio planner, there you are, you have a job. So they will do what is called radio planning, and they will decide, do we have a site there? Call them boosters. They will design one. Once they design that booster, it's called a BTS, or base transceiver station, but many people call them boosters. Someone else will have to come and build it. The first person was a telecommunication engineer, which is a branch of electrical engineering. Electrical engineering has 3 branches, but you'll see them very shortly. So it will go to someone who will now have to build it. That will mainly be a civil engineer. A civil engineer is the one that is involved in ensuring that the structures are sound. Now, the civil engineer will build a structure that can hold all the things that are up there. We call them antennas, and others are called microwaves. Now, once the civil engineer has finished his work, he needs to give that back to another profession within engineering. So engineering has opportunities. So he'll give to someone who will be looking at transmission of that signal, that WhatsApp signal, to another place which is called a data center. Now, the transmission of that signal will go either fiber, or it can use microwave, the one that is hosted kule juu, where you see a big sufuria. That sufuria is never for any ugari. It is for transmitting that signal. So either using microwave or using that signal, a lot of times both, for redundancy, and the signal goes to a place called a data center. When it gets to a data center, it will find what we are calling our data center. It's not a hall like this. It's a big protected area where you will not be able to get in unless you are authorized. A big protected area where we have big computers. Computers are designed and fabricated, built, and operated by engineers. So there are your opportunities. So those computers, we call them servers. Now, to build a place for servers is a big job. That place called a data center. The job requires you have an architect. No, nobody is talking about the architecture here, but that is, I want to mention it. You have an architect that will give the general feel of how the place will be. Then you need to have electrical engineers that will come and decide how energy will flow in the data center. They're the ones to decide how the servers will be arranged, and so on and so forth. But they will also work with the mechanical engineers. One of the biggest jobs that a data center will be doing is to cool, because those are big servers that have to be cooled. It's not cooled by a fan like this one. Big technological work that goes in there. So mechanical engineers will work together with electrical engineers and ensure that all systems are good. Mechanical engineers, again, which is another branch of engineering, will also ensure that there is fire protection, because those are very critical things that they must be protected. Then once they have, the signal has now come to the data center, it is processed, all the cooling, all the energy, and the question you should be asking yourself now is, where is this energy going to come from? So that you can see the interaction of engineers. The energy must have come from some electricity that came from somewhere, so that it can now come and process the signal that she sent, which was a WhatsApp signal. Then in the process of processing that WhatsApp signal, they needed fire protection, it needed cooling, it needed all the other things that you have talked about, which have been managed by the engineers. Now that energy will have come from a place called probably Getaru, somewhere in Mount Kenya. Now that energy, which is electrical energy, was generated with water, and therefore you needed a civil engineer, a branch of civil engineering, which is called water engineering. So a water engineer worked on a dam. They built a dam, and once they have built the dam, they have harnessed the water, and the water was used to generate electricity. Now to generate that electricity, that water was harnessed, that process was harnessed by mechanical engineers, because you have to build big systems for you to be able to transform the potential energy of water into electrical energy that the electrical person needs, so that you can go and process the WhatsApp. You're still on the WhatsApp. So the mechanical engineer will produce electricity and give it again to the electrical engineer. The electrical engineer will design what is called transmission systems. They'll transmit the energy from that place, which is Getaru. They will design how it will be transmitted all the way to Nairobi, where the server is. Now, that transmission will require big things that are called pylons. Lazima mnaziona vitu kubwa zinabeba electricity. These are called pylons, high voltage. So for them to be able to do that, they need the collaboration of a structural engineer, because they cannot build that. So a structural engineer will come, design the structures that will then take the energy all the way to Nairobi. And from there, another person who is now an electrical engineer will distribute the energy right to the server, and the energy will now be used to process the WhatsApp that the lady who was seated here wanted to process. So in other words, what I wanted to summarize is there is a lot of opportunity in engineering, and engineering has all those branches. I have mentioned some of them. I mentioned electrical. Electrical has a number of sub-branches. It has telecommunication, for example. I have mentioned telecommunication in the process of that. It has power engineering. I have mentioned power engineering, and so on and so forth. There are so many, and including computer, of course. There is also the civil engineer. The civil engineer is the one that is going to do the structures, including the roads. There is highway engineering within civil engineering. There is structural engineering within civil engineering. There is water engineering that I have just mentioned about the dam. Then there is the mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering also has a lot of other things that they do. There is cooling, ventilation, air conditioning, there is fire protection, and so on and so forth. When you go and find all the plumbing in Okaria, Those are big plumbing that are not just another plumber. That is the work of mechanical engineers. So there are a lot of opportunities in engineering. I think I don't want to mention where you can learn it. I think Mr. Hugh had mentioned that. Money. Engineering also pays bills. But for it to pay those bills, you've got to identify the problem that you want to solve with engineering. You've got to be disciplined, focused, and you've got to be committed to live a purposeful life. Thank you.
Employment. You think, even in other careers, when you think, nitapata job, that is one thing. So the self-employment, you can, unaweza jipatia job. Ana uajili watu wengine. So in agriculture, you can have self-employment and job creation. Thirdly, which the engineer Moricho has talked about, is solving problems. What are we solving here? We are solving problems in agriculture. And one thing that we are solving is something that happens every day. Climate change, that affects agriculture. Food insecurity, that affects agriculture. Malnutrition, that comes from agriculture. So we are solving problems through getting a career path in agriculture. The other one, and Daktari talked about, Dr. Madenge, it's passion. You must have passion in the career path that you are choosing. So if you choose agriculture, please have passion. But I am thinking, when you think about agriculture, what picture comes in your mind? When you think about agriculture, the first picture that from the mind is this one. Yeah, that is the picture. But I'm telling you now, with 21st century, agriculture has changed. We are moving from that picture. We are going ahead slowly to that kind of agriculture using small tools. We are getting to complicated agriculture where we have what we call intensive agriculture. And that comes from you when you take an agricultural career for yourself. So this will solve a lot. So even in the processing industry, that is agriculture. So let's delete that picture of the first person of Akajembe being in agriculture. So what does agriculture provide? One, agriculture, as I had said earlier, it doesn't end at farm level. It starts, yes, there are those in the farm level, but there are those ones who are in the processing industry where we have food, and most of the food that we have, it's agricultural based. So it is wide. So it's wide being in agriculture. You can have it also in equipment maintenance, agricultural maintenance, and that is where we have agricultural engineers. They come in maintenance of equipment in agriculture and also in manufacturing. We have even the vaccines, livestock vaccines, that are manufactured through those people who have done a course in agriculture. Another thing that we would think about agriculture, there is research, where I am, where we solve problems. Apart from employment opportunities, we solve issues. So that is another Garden of Eden with agriculture. It will never end. So it is here with us, and for us is to get in agriculture and we get creative so that we don't stay where we are. Innovations. So agriculture, in agriculture, it is wide. It's not limited. It is wide. You can employ yourself, and it's passion. And I'm sure most of the engineers you see here, and doctors and everyone, they're all looking forward to do agriculture. They retire, but they do one mistake. They retire, they get to agriculture. And that's what makes us think we'll do agriculture later. But for us now, we are telling ourselves, our young people, let's get to agriculture so that we can start early and we solve problems and become creative in agriculture. So for us to be in agricultural world, in the agricultural field, I know in the university there are their courses, but I want to get a little bit specific, because when you think about agriculture, it's agriculture. But we have one, agriculture general and horticulture. That is the one that gives you a general idea of what agriculture is about, to get you the skills on agricultural field. that is crops. You can become daktari wa nini? Wa mimea by doing BSc in horticulture and agriculture general. Unakuwa daktari wa mimea. So you solve the diseases in plants. Another thing is agribusiness management. That takes you in related field. You can start your own farm, you can start your own nursery, you can start processing plant of food, and that gives you a lot of skills and knowledge in that field of agriculture. The other one that I did, and that's what I did food science and technology. I did it as a BSc level, but it still is very available in our TVETs, in food technology, in diploma, also in our universities. You can do that. And food science and technology gives you a wider area of employment. You can be employed in food science, in food industries. You can start your own industry. And also you can be in research to solve those problems. The other courses are, I needed to do that. So what kind of food you eat, you solve the problem of malnutrition in the country. So you get in food science, in food nutrition, and you're able to know the combination of foods, and you can be employed in the community, NGOs. There is a wide area of employment. Also, you can have your own consultancies, where we have many NGOs, World Health Organization coming in, Food Agriculture Organization coming in, and getting you as a nutritionist. Then we have in livestock, Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine, unakuwa daktari wa mifugo. Daktari wa mifugo. It could be clinical, as we explained, and also the veterinary services. And these are the people who later on are giving license to do the agrovet shops, where we buy the medicines or for our mifugo. That's where you have to go through that course so that you are licensed to do the agrovets. There is also in diploma in animal health, you also have get into the same field. I talked about agricultural engineering. Those are the courses that are rated in agriculture. There is dairy technology, that's about milk, and you can get it that course in Egerton University. It's about milk production, quality, and processing of all the dairy products, from yogurt, from cheese, all those products. It's very specific. It is offered in Egerton University. I know some people finish their course and they go for short courses for those like yogurt processing, dairy technology, but you can start from a level that will fit you. Thank you very much. How many have I changed to do agriculture? Who wants to do agriculture? Thank you. I'm hoping you'll come back to me. I have not exhausted because of the limitation of time. Come back to me, we'll talk more about agriculture. Thank you.
That is, I'm also convinced agriculture is the future. And thank you very much. We have somebody already interested, so I'm sure she'll be following up with you. So we appreciate Elder Charity again. As we welcome Elder David to give us insights into the law profession and practice. So let's appreciate him as he comes. Karibu.
I don't see like you understood my message. What happens when the judge comes into court? People stand up. And I expect you to do exactly that. Please stand up. It's a hot afternoon. That's on a light note. I want us to do a short, quick energizer. Then we sit down and continue. Who knows that song? Head, shoulder, knees and toes. We do that one, eh? Head, shoulder, knees and toes, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, ears, mouth. Okay, thank you very much. Let us be seated. I know it's a bit hot and could be getting tired. It's been a bit of time. I don't expect to take more than 5 minutes. I don't have a presentation to be projected. So I'll talk very quickly about my points. As you can see, I'm coming among the last after all those speakers have spoken. And maybe I'm coming last is not just by default. I think it might have been intended, because as you know, our profession, we call ourselves the learned friends. Would you maybe try to guess why we say so? Okay, I'll help you. The reason we say that is that a lawyer deals with almost everything. Like what all the other speakers have spoken about, I can say, and I'm not bragging, that I know something about it. And so there's a phrase that you will come across if you want to become a lawyer. There's a phrase that goes like this, a jack of all trades, comma, a master of none. Who knows how it goes? Okay? So that is how we describe our profession, because we deal with everything. If doctors have an issue, they have a dispute, they will come to a lawyer, and I will understand their case. If the other professions have issues, they come. So basically, we do a lot of reading, and in all professions, and if really you want to be a lawyer, then you must be ready to read, because you carry books every time. Every day you meet new challenges, and you have to go into that field and study and at least understand. So that is where that phrase came from. So I will start by maybe talking about job opportunities for lawyers. And what I would say is that there are many, many, many job opportunities out there for lawyers. I think I would say they are in the millions. And in a summary, you can go into private practice. I think that is what most of us understand when we talk about lawyers, because we see them when they go to court, they have law firms. You can open your own office, you are self-employed, or you can be employed by any of the advocates who are already in practice, and then you're able to learn from them as you work together. Then there are also many opportunities in the civil service, government jobs, like what I do. I'm a magistrate and employed by the judiciary. In the judiciary, there are very many also opportunities for magistrates, judges, and all the others, you know them. There are also offices like the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. They employ very many lawyers, because everywhere there is a court, there is also a lawyer employed by the ODPP, and they do the prosecutions. Those prosecutors, all of them are lawyers. There is also the Office of the Attorney General. They have many lawyers because they also represent all cases where the government is involved. There are parastatals, there are constitutional commissions. All those are opportunities for lawyers. Then we have the private sector, companies, insurance companies, banks, learning institutions. All those employ what we call legal officers, company secretaries. There are also the learning institutions like universities. We have very few law professors in this country, yet we have a number of universities offering law, so there's still a lot of job opportunity in that area. Then we have international organizations. I know many of you would like to work with organizations like UNICEF, UNHCR, UNEP, World Food Program, and such like. They have very many opportunities also for lawyers, and you can also delve into that area. We have diplomatic missions, the ambassadors and those high commissions, they also employ lawyers because there are many jobs for them. Of course, the last one I'll mention is politics. If you're really interested in becoming a politician, and if you do your background check, for many politicians, especially those ones who excel, they have some form of legal training. So those are just some of the opportunities. And then maybe I could go to requirements for you to be able to study law. And as I've mentioned, there are many universities currently offering law. I've counted over 20, and this is good. It's a good development, because the time when I took law, I think there are only 2 universities in this country which are offering law. And the minimum requirement is a C+, mean grade of C+, and then a grade B in English. So you must have grade B in English for obvious reasons, that you'll be required to communicate, and mostly in English. Although they say English or Kiswahili, but some universities will insist on English. Then with the C+ minimum grade, you will find that that is what is provided for by the ministry. But when the actual admission comes, they actually insist on B and above, because the demand is high and they are not able to absorb somebody below B or some universities like the University of Nairobi, they will even tell you B+. So once you have those minimum qualifications, you also need other attributes, like, because I said you excel in the languages, you're able to express yourself. Then you must be good in public speaking. If you are the kind of person ukiambiwa usimame hapa unaanza kutetemeka, then I don't think law is for you, because every other day you'll be required to stand and address gatherings. You must therefore have confidence. You must also be able to look at situations, think about them critically, analyze situations, make sound arguments, like the way you see those lawyers doing. You must finally be ready to read and read and read. My work involves reading every time and writing. So when I'm in court, I listen and I write. When I'm outside court, I sit down to write judgments. And I don't just write, I have to do research, because every day I'll handle a different topic. And it could be anything from medicine to agriculture to mining and anything you can think about. And then you are able then to come up with a good judgment. So if you ask my wife here, the moderator is my wife, for those who don't know, she can tell you I always have files in the boot of my car wherever I go. Even now, if you check, you might find a file or two in my car. But I'm not discouraging you, just trying to make it clear what to expect. And for those maybe who are interested in taking law and you have not met those minimum qualifications, there's still a chance. You can do a bridging course, which is offered by the Kenya School of Law. And for that, you need at least a mean grade of C plain, and then a C+ in English or Kiswahili. If you have that, then you can go to Kenya School of Law. You do diploma in paralegal studies, which is 2-year course. Once you finish, then they can allow you now to go to the university and take the Bachelor of Laws degree. Then the duration of study at the university, you take 4 years, and then you graduate with Bachelor of Laws degree. Then you go to Kenya School of Law. You do what we call the Advocates Training Program. It takes 1 year. And then after that 1 year, you will go to an advocate who has more than 5 years experience. You do attachment, what we call pupillage, for a period of 6 months. Once you finish all those requirements, then you are ready now. Okay, you'll be awarded a postgraduate diploma in law by the Kenya School of Law, and then you are ready now to be enrolled to the role of advocates. That is normally done through a swearing-in ceremony, which is presided over by the Chief Justice. And then after that, you are licensed and you are ready now to go into the market, and you can choose what to do. As I said, you can open your law firm, you can be employed, you can go into the private sector, you can go into the civil service. So of course, I know there have been concerns in the recent past that maybe there are too many people taking law. I've seen even someone making fun, saying that if you go to the streets of Nairobi and throw a stone, the chance that you hit a lawyer is like 80%. But I think those are just things to make fun. And what I would say is that there's always room at the top. So if you find that maybe the market is saturated, you can always advance. I've told you there are very few people who have done masters and perhaps a PhD in law. And if you do that, then you can be assured that, the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. There'll be more fresh air and more room for you to turn around. So I think with that, I will end my presentation. I hope I've taken 5 minutes. Thank you.
Asante sana. I don't know if I'm qualified to call you learned friend, but let's appreciate Elder David. And thank you for those insights. If you want to pursue law, you can always look for him. And there's also Elder Mudomi, among others, who are able to guide us further. So at this point, I want...
Thank you very much, LCC. My name is Anne Wanjiko Maina, and I would like to share a bit about the social sciences. The courses are many. I remember when I was going to the university, I wanted to do law, but missed it by a mark, and I was called for an economics degree. And in that day and era, you would not negotiate. I think hapa squeezy, they can say, Mom, you can pay private, but then you could not negotiate with your parents. But one of the things that I found very interesting, and I'm happy I didn't get into law, I don't think I would have prospered there. You need to look at right now, the young people have the opportunity to choose, because you'll find yourself moving around and not exactly understanding what your passion or what you're good at. And so it's important as we go into college, or even before going to college, to do even some voluntary work with some of the mentors here. We've had the opportunity to hear from the various speakers, but you need to do an assessment of your strengths, abilities, and weaknesses, such that if you cannot stand blood, then you cannot do nothing. And so it will be good to assess that. And I find that it's very interesting being in the job sector. Now I work with civil society, and I've reached a point where I'm a CEO, but walking that path, volunteer, communications officer, advocacy officer, and all that, you realize where your passion is. And up to now, I know my passion is doing advocacy, but also you have to invest and specialize. Invest even in your communication skills. As a CEO, we interact a lot with interviews, and you'll get students or graduates who come for an interview and they fail to speak. You're telling him, please speak up, or her, speak up, let's hear you. And so you have to improve your communication skills. You need to work on your the work that you do. Are you a team player? Do you do some voluntary work? How do you do problem solving? Right now, maybe some of you have just finished Form 4, you're home most of the time, and there's a lot of free Wi-Fi. Dad asipolipa Wi-Fi. Dad, Wi-Fi imeisha. Do you, as the young people say, unajituma? Once in a while you say, like every 2 hours a day, let me try and improve on my typing skills. Because I might go for an interview and have a typed test. Will I be able to pass that test? And so it's important that you improve on those, your initiative, your planning and organizing skills, self-management, learning and technology skill, which have been emphasized here. And you realize that, especially with are you Gen Zs or Gen Xs? We realize that some of the students that or interviews you conduct, the young people are very eloquent, they speak very well. But if you give them a written test, it doesn't translate. And so you'll find in a lot of interviews now we are doing double, written and speaking, so that we are able to assess you. But also you need to do even research. Do you know the culture of the place you're going for an interview? You'll find you're going to a place like a bank, and a lady comes with a trouser for an interview. You really need to look at those etiquette, research, where am I going for an interview? And of course, always resort to the standard or the acceptable. Like you should go in a black skirt as a lady, smart and neat. And you know, a lot of that is looked into. How are you presenting yourself as a young person who wants to be interviewed? So I was talking about working, even volunteering. I remember when I finished university, I did a volunteership for 1 year free. My father was giving me bus fare, he was giving me food and everything to Nairobi daily. And how many of you can do that? Nani anaweza jituma kufanya hiyo? And if you ask your parents, they cannot refuse if you're interested in the issue, because it helps you to identify where I want to fall into. And as you do that, you explore your various career options. If you are doing, for example, the social sciences are so many, and you'll see that even like when we advertise in the civil society, we're like the degree, the first degree, you can have an agriculture degree, you can have an economics degree. We are coming to assess you. And often we want to look at the person. Is this person we are able to work with and build their skill? And you'll find an interesting aspect that I've noticed, and it's a bit worrisome. You find even someone with a PhD applying for a very junior position, for example, a program assistant. And you realize that maybe this person had a first degree, then they went directly into a master's. Unless you want to stay in the teaching or become a lecturer, maybe that is you can do that. But I remember when I was being given career talks as I was a young student, they kept on insisting, after your first degree, work for some time, then identify what you want to focus on so that you can start your master's. Because when you explore, you decide. Like when I explored after my first degree, I decided I wanted a second degree in environmental sciences, specifically climate change issues, which I work on. And so it's important that as you walk and explore those, volunteer. If you are at the university and you hear there's a cleanup exercise, Nairobi River, why are you being left behind? Just to chat. It's important that mujitume. I think I hear the young people say tujitume, and taking care of ourselves, and especially even our mental health. I've noticed an interesting trend, especially among the young people, where you're really struggling work-life balance, leading to even depression. How do you balance your work and life? Is it all about permanently on the computer? Do you do other things to improve or hear singing? I'm happy when it comes to my office, I'll be like, oh, this one also is balanced. And even your initiative. I remember one time we were going for a meeting in Parliament, and I had looked for parking. I cannot get parking. I was with an intern. She's like, wacha nishuke nitafute. She convinces the guards at Parliament to give me parking. The next time I got funding, I called her, can you apply for this position? Unfortunately, she was already gone because she had initiative. Anashuka, anaenda naongea nao guards, anawaambia tupatie parking. Of course, nikitoka nilinunulia guard soda, but she took the initiative. Do you take the initiative to do things? Even in church, many times we hear our elder asking, can we have, or our chairman would like to have volunteers to be ushers. And in most places you find the young people are the ushers, but are you willing to do that? And so mentors are very important, diversifying. Personally, as a person, I'm an introvert. I'm the type in primary, secondary school, I could not lift my hand. So if even my friends, when they meet me, they're like, oh, tulikuona kwa TV. You mean you can speak? I'm like, the day I realized my potential, and I had mentors who encouraged me. You know it, Anne, speak about it. Be confident. And that's where you will grow and prosper. So it is important. Even if you say, me, I'm a quiet person, I don't like talking much, but you'll go for an interview and you'll be the type you're like, the person has the papers, but they cannot speak up. How do I expect them to go to the field and speak to farmers and they cannot speak up? So it's important to be very persistent and careful and balanced. Like now, I'm expected, like in my younger years, I'm told organize a demonstration in Nairobi. If I don't have initiative and contacts, how would I do it? So it is important you balance and you look at improving yourself. We have internet. How do you
shown the being disciplined? That one does not look at the age. It begins as you are born. When she wants her mother to give her milk, she will cry or she'll show some sign that I want some milk. I want mama to be around me. So let us be disciplined in all that we do. Discipline comes by, there is no good result without discipline. I, as a parent, I am also supposed to be disciplined. Discipline has no limit, has no age limit. It goes hand in hand in all that we undertake to do. Let us maintain discipline. Discipline of a good Christian. There's a book of Titus, First Titus, and chapter 8. Go and read it. Let's proceed. The other thing, you cannot go. Jesus left us with a helper. Let our helper be the Holy Spirit. Let us be led of the Holy Spirit. In all that we do, Holy Spirit, train to guide you. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're not supposed to do. Let us be led by the Holy Spirit. Let the Holy Spirit of God lead us in all that we undertake to do. Even whatever the career that we are going to pick, even when you're in class, wherever you are, listen to that small voice that comes from the Holy Spirit leading you the way. And that's why we get it from the Romans 4:14. You're going to read when you go. I don't want to read it. The other thing maybe I can add on is about being purposeful. Most of them have spoken about it. I would say this as a person who went through that. And it got me that God, may you allow my children to discover themselves, to discover what gifting they are, to discover who they are in early age before they go round. Me, I did so many courses before I could realize. In fact, 2 years ago is when I discovered that's who I am. You do this course, I am a veterinary, I have done animal production, I am an entrepreneur, I have done accounts, so many careers. Why all this? Because you have not discovered. As long as it's glorifying God, be a DJ in the church. We have a DJ here in the church. Be a DJ in the church, because go for whatever passion that you have. Don't go for whatever. As you used to check on a career, I understand now the engineer why he said that as you solve a problem, money will always come because you're solving a problem. Become a philosopher where you are, yes, that probably would give us money and you'd along the way not get that money, because God wired us to become co-creators. There is nothing that we do for our own. It is meant for God. Become that teacher that will glorify God, that people will see Christ in this mwalimu. Huyu mwalimu kweli kuna kitu tofauti na walimu wengine. Huyu daktari, huyu engineer kweli, huyu accountant kweli, si yule anapushwa na whatever tunampatia. Kuna kitu inaonekana ndani yake. That will be Christ living. He knew he was a savior. So when he came, he didn't beat about the bush. He just became a savior, simple. So I would also request that you become, that God may reveal to you what is that you are wired for, what is the gifting that you have, and you follow your purpose. May you fit in your purpose, all for the glory and honor of God. Be blessed.
Those insights, because at the end of it all, it's not about ourselves, it is about fulfilling our God-given purpose. So if we don't invite God as we begin this, we are likely to make wrong choices. So let's take that that word very seriously, so that it, as to what is available to us. Dr. Simba will come and guide us on the process of application, the COOPS, and then we will pick it up from there. Karibu Daktari. Let's welcome him.
I promise you I'm the last person with slides, since I'm sure I know the program. So those of you who are worried about that, be assured of that. But the other thing I want you to acknowledge, I know we have spent time, but I can assure you I don't think I've ever been in something like this in my life. And I'm not very few years. I'm not the oldest, obviously, here, but I can assure you I don't think I've ever been enough to be wonderful. And I'm sure there are people who are going to follow from my village, but they were asking me what they should do. And that question is usually very hard, because sometimes I actually don't know what you should do. But then when you get it from everyone, then Jack, we can be my slides. So once we get it from the, apologies for okay, yeah, seems it didn't go. Okay, so we probably are going, let me just do it for me. I think it didn't go to Jack's side. But basically, when you go to that COOPS portal, I hope you have looked at it. It actually says today that it is 11 days to closing. So it's about to close. It just opened the other day and it's going to close. And what is going to happen is, in that particular COOPS, you have been given an opportunity to log in, and you basically need to have your KCSE index number and your KCPE index number. That becomes your initial password. But when you log in, and subsequently she had shared with me numbers, so subsequently, right now it's very slow. So the trick is, it's probably going to work if you woke up 5 a.m. on a Sunday, because I've been trying to log in yesterday and didn't work, but at least when I was seated here with her, it logged a bit and eventually it went to the next page, which it had not loaded to. So you have to look at what time you do it, because you can imagine all the close to 1 million people who did KCSE with you logging to that system. So you have to find a funny hour. Usually 5 a.m. people are not awake. Of course, the few I'm telling online will not be able to be all of them free. But those such times, then when you log in, it will give you, it as B plus in biology, it is, remember there was the initial marks which they have used. That is why if you are to use numbers, and she gave me permission to say something, so I'll just say something. Like for our cluster, in cluster 1, she has 32.629 calculated points, and a cluster, I'll just pick the one with the lowest. There's a cluster, for example, which is saying that cluster 1 to 20. First check, how are your strength? They have already calculated for you. Then now when you go to the programs, it is not enough to say I want to do medicine. You have to check medicine in JKUAT, in University of Nairobi. I've started, I can assure you, they have a higher cutoff. University of Nairobi, because when you are in the village and in the schools, the only university you had is Nairobi, so the cutoff is very high. And that's why we miss national schools. You see the way we apply randomly, and because I want to go to Alliance, you don't remember which county are you in and which sub-county. So those courses, like at least most of the courses, because most of the courses have gone tier for, let's say, UON versus for Uzima University. So we have a boy we mentored and we advised them out. They joined medicine in Uzima. Of students I know missed because they had applied in other institutions. So you have to figure out that point. It is a very important thing. Don't just go see what was the cutoff in the particular institution. Then remember that was for the court in 2022. The truth of the matter is you don't know what is the cutoff for 2023. And it will be based on the demand and the space availability. So if people apply so many of them like we do with Nanyuki I, and the next one we pick the one in, I think, somewhere in Bomet, then the cutoff becomes higher. So you have to kind of play around with those numbers and think through them, put them in a cart. There's somewhere there it allows you to put the courses in a cart. And you can come back to think about it, and you can come back to revise. Now, common sense, and we know in high school we were taught it's not a common property. Logic. Ideally, your course number 1 has higher points than your course number 2. Because if you put a course which is, let's say, has a lower points in choice number 1 and you miss it, automatically you have missed all the courses. That's the likely scenario, unless you really arrange them very well. And that's why you end up people having to do choose among this amount to achana na sisi. So please think through that process. It is actually not that people choose wrongly. And by the grace of God, there are people we have asked them, at least with Dr. Rosemary, it's few times I call her that. So for now I'll call her Dr. They have followed those things. I can assure you they haven't really missed in those 4 courses, because it just requires a bit of you analyzing the system possibilities. So if, for example, medicine says the cutoff, I think it's 45, for example, University of Nairobi, and your points are 39, first of all, it will not allow you to pick that. That's the first thing. But then, don't choose the course where all of them, you are having a 0.0 something above what it was last year, because should this cutoff be higher, you are going to be off. So please remember those things. As most of the other people have said, we are willing to really assist in choosing those, whatever you want, whatever level you want, if it is at the university, if it is at the if it's at the university, if it is the other levels, but just remember it is using law of probability. and you have really to be careful so that you don't throw yourself out. Should be able. Don't look at, the other point I've said is, don't really look at the name of the institution, because you can miss a very good course. It's been done maybe in Eldoret to go to Kisumu and come the same day. So I think that's how you need to look at it. So I think I have made the points I needed to make despite the challenge in this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Simba. And by the way, Dr. Simba is available. He has declared here. So if you need further guidance, those that are present here, those that may not have made it and are following online, and you can also tell your friends. If you need further guidance, and because he has also pointed out that we only have 11 days, please make use of his guidance. Dr. Rosemary is also here. Come to the end of our program, and I want to appreciate every one of you for making time to be here present physically, and for those of us who are also following us online, we don't take it for granted that you have carved out time. And it's a Saturday afternoon, you had other engagements, but you chose to be here. And I know it is benefiting you also, so that we make informed choices. I also want to appreciate the Christian Education Committee for this thought. And especially so, I want to make a special mention to our patron, Elder Engineer Warutere. He has really pushed through to see that this has happened. He has really gone out of his way. I want to really appreciate you, our patron, and let's please really put our hands together and appreciate him, because it could have just passed like all the facilitators. Because first of all, I want you to know that we are not paying them. They have volunteered their services, and they have told me that they are willing to mentor those that will approach them, because a mentor really is the one that takes initiative. So those that are willing to be mentored, I am sure that the facilitators here are willing to really step in and help us move forward. So let's also put our hands together and appreciate them. And above everything else, and that should have been the first person that I appreciated, or the first office that I appreciated, it's God for giving us the grace, the time, and the energy to just be here on a Sunday afternoon. Let's appreciate God in a mighty way. So at this point, we will end our program, but I will want to invite our patron. I'm sure he would have a word or two to say. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Madam Ann. Let us appreciate her. She has moderated the session well. I don't want to repeat what she has said, but it is to say it is time well spent. We apologize, maybe as a committee, Christian Education, because probably we are not able to touch all the areas. Maybe you have your area that you have insights on, but because of time, we are unable to touch each and every area. We know we have areas like IT, which is a major area. We also have even religion. Our evangelist is there. Robert, maybe he is wondering, kwani hamjui bado hii watu that you have an interest in. It has not been mentioned. We have personnel, we have professionals who are in almost all the areas that you could be interested in. So just grateful for this. As we have said, this is just for the beginning. We want to work with you, not only you who are here, even others who are in college, and probably even those who are in Form 4, maybe they are even guided and they are working towards even a particular course so that they know even which areas. If I want to become this, I must start becoming good in these areas 1 and 2. So we will be starting early, and I know we'll go far. Even after you finish, you apply here, bring your CV, and all that. So let it not just be a one-off, but as Madam Ann has said, the mentee. The mentee use the chance, use us where you feel that we can be of help to you. Once again, I'm really, really grateful. This thing, actually, we had organized it for 18 the other Sunday, but when we realized the deadlines for the COOPs, we thought of bringing it closer. So many of the mentors you can see here, we have just given them 1 day notice. Many of them, we talked to them yesterday. So let us appreciate them once again. Because it's just 1 day, you can see the love, you can see the commitment, because the shelved get in touch with us, the Christian Education Committee of PCA High Level, to be able to offer you whatever assistance that we are able. So I think with that, we want to end here. We also want to apologize. Maybe we did not have something for you. It's because of the nature. We hurriedly put it up, maybe some refreshments, but going forward, maybe we'll continue improving on the same. So, Madam Chair, I think I'm done. Yep.
So, thank you very much, our patron, Elder Engineer Warutere. We will not do anything else. I'll invite Florence to do for us a closing prayer, and after that, we will be free to leave. Asanteni sana for your patience, and God bless you.
The material, many of the slides have already been shared through Robert, so they will be shared to your group so that you can still live.
Thank you. Tusimame tuombe. This afternoon, we want to honor your name. Thank you for, we have felt your presence in this place. Thank you for many informative message that you've given unto us. We are so grateful. We honor your name even as we take as we go through the process of choosing our careers for our children. Father, we entrust you and show us the way as we disperse us with your grace and your mercy. And as you watch over us as we go back home, Father, may you watch over us.